Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hanging Out with Howie. And before I introduce my illustrious cast that I have tonight with probably a couple hundred years worth of experience, want to acknowledge our longtime sponsor, and that is DJ Event Planner. You can find them at www.djeventplanner.com. And as always, when this gets published, all the other sponsors, including them, will be right down below with the blue hyperlink. And please help them help us and stay on the air. So tonight's topic, I thought I have a couple of questions about Giglogs. And I don't do them because I don't have time. And another thing is, the only ones I really actually watch are the ones that have some sort of educational content, like, hey, I ran into this situation, here's what I did. But, you know, are you actually like trying to advertise yourself, promote yourself, or are you putting out, you know, something that's actually, you know, going to help someone, you know, help the newcomer? Or are you like, hey, look at me? And, you know, so who would like to go first?
I can go first if you don't mind.
Sure.
Because I do quite a bit on YouTube. The biggest thing I also run in with YouTube is copyright strikes. So if you're doing anything with music, that's you know, you're showing dance floor after that, it's always got to be very little bit. You're talking, you know, 6-7 second slivers. But I do Giglogs for one reason, and that is to show customers where I've been and what happens at a wedding I do. It's, you know, yeah, there's other DJs that see it and watch it and stuff like that and get comments and critiques and criticisms, and that's perfectly fine. That's part of the deal, putting it out there and interweb lands. But having that out there also, I guess I had a client to, oh yeah, hey, I had a wedding at such and such place. Oh, you want to see the video of it? Go to this link here and send them the link for that. Because pictures show a lot. They can show pictures, but pictures, a lot of people time dancing, they look like they're standing there versus actually showing video of the lights and the dancing and the music and people doing things and the fun they're having. Is a whole different realm of things. It's kind of like, to me, like we do at a wedding show. This is what I do at a wedding show. I usually have a big TV up, and I show highlight reels of the weddings I've done. And to me, those Giglogs I do up there on YouTube are highlight reels of those weddings, and they're designed for customers to see. So there's a few rules I follow. No foul language, nothing offensive, and try to keep it clean, kind of like G-rated, because I want customers to see that and say, hey, you know what? They're doing the right thing. So it's always going to be cognizant what's going on and see what you're saying and know where you're going. And kind of one of the things also I found out is to kind of write a list out of what you want to shoot, what kind of idea you have. Just like a movie, you know, you have a director, you're your own director, you're your own producer and everything like that, and you're your own editor. So everything is done in the magic land of whatever process you'd use for editing, but you kind of want to have a shot layout, kind of figure out, okay, I'm going to get some B-roll of this, I want to get some B-roll of that, I want to get some shots of this, and I want to work on that. But again, I do it for customers to see. So if it's advertisement, yes. If it's advertising to other DJs, not so much, but again, I also show how I do things, because that way a DJ who does watch it sees how to overcome something, and hopefully I help them out. But also I show a customer, hey, I ran into this problem and I have enough understanding of the problem and I can overcome that problem in case something happens at your wedding.
I'm gonna go right across my screen then. My road dog.
Oh, road dog.
Austin John.
Very good. Very good. Road dog in the house. I think the important thing that before any of those videos go up is that you've got permission from the client.
That was going to be one of my questions. See,
because it's
great minds.
Yeah, kind of figure like it's okay to shoot, be real for yourself. to show, future people that'll be hired, but you want to be focused on the event, not walking around shooting a video when you're supposed to be working their event.
Right.
It's, good to show, look, this is how we fill a dance floor. Or again, I've been at that venue before. Let me give you an instance. I'll record stuff to my phone, but I won't go live with it. I won't go to Facebook Live. I won't go to YouTube. It's a private party. These people weren't invited. And I feel sharing beyond what the normal person, like if someone says, oh, I'm going to hire you for a wedding. Can I come to your next wedding? No. It's not your wedding. I'll be happy. I can show you some footage and give you an idea of the energy we bring and what the lights look like. But I don't do it just for the purpose. I don't want to broadcast people's events or say, hey, and have them come back at me after and say, well, you took that down because Aunt Mary was looking a little funky that night on the video you put up.
Right.
But I give it, anything that I record, I then give to the client afterwards. I'll give it to them on a flash drive, or when I send a thank you, be like, here's a couple of the video clips from your event. If you're just so caught up in the moment, you didn't really have time to observe what I saw. So here's some of the highlights I saw from where I was, and share it with them that way. It's valuable to the client that way. And in the future, if somebody wants to hire you based off your performance and your energy, you got something to show. And it is video. Are way better than just still frame pictures of people. That's just scrapbook. You want to show them something that's a little more lively. That's my take on it.
Gotcha. All right, we're going to go to now. They've been calling you Georgia, Matt, but your profile says South Carolina. Are you?
It's right on the border. Yeah, right on the border. So
are you South Carolina or Georgia?
I live in South Carolina, so yeah.
All right. That's too long to say. I'll just say, hey, Matt.
A long name for a band.
We have little nicknames around here like Georgia-lina.
Georgia-lina.
Yeah, so I haven't started doing Giglogs yet, but it is something that I am interested in doing and putting on YouTube, and starting to build that up. But before I do that, what I'm really struggling with is, what do I want my channel to be? Do I want it to be a DJ channel for other DJs, or do I want it to be a marketing tool, or somehow both? So is it going to be another thing out there that's giving helpful hints, or is it or tips or things that I've picked up, or is it going to be something that will benefit clients to see? And, I think there's ways to do both. One of my favorites to watch is DJ Rachel. She just put up a new one on July 3rd that I really liked. And one of the things I like about her videos are she really goes through and takes the time, whether she's speaking it or flashes it up on the screen by saying, here's why I chose this setup. Here's why I chose these lights versus these other lights, and, different things like that. So I think something like that is a hybrid of the two schools of thought, of being educational for a DJ, but also showing a client that you can really put a lot of thought into their event. So I'm trying to look for what I would want my angle to be. Brian S. Red said something on a recent show about, what do you bring to the table? So,
right.
And that's one of the things that if I'm going to put content out on YouTube, on a YouTube channel, I want to be able to answer that.
Thank you, Matt, from Georgia,
the South.
Next up, even further down south, we have Florida Scott with us tonight.
Yes. Well, I do video logs, and I keep them for myself. I will get permission sometimes if they're really good to post them on social media. And I do that kind of for a liability thing. I really do. For liability. I feel like that, for instance, I had an event. Oh, nobody danced. Well, here's the video. You can't. And I've had to send it to them. I've had to literally send it to them and I'm glad I started doing that. And I did it, like I said, just for the liability, even if you put a gobo and hide it somewhere where you got it, run it periodically. And you're not going to run it all the time, but, you can, and just kind of keep those logs, those event logs, still pictures. They don't do it. The video, it does a story. It really does it. It will set the mood. And I don't really, per se focus it on an individual. I just kind of will just record, say, the dance floor or around the room and stuff like that a little bit. And I don't do a big segment, just a small hit, a little bit here and there. But that's how I started doing it for liability. So,
Oh, that's a good point, because do you have permission to take video of children if there's children in there? I've had people, because I ask ahead of time how many kids are going to be there. Oh, about 30, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm not taking any video.
Yeah,
it's just matter of safety these days. That you and I could not, to save my life, go and blur out all those faces and post, and I just don't do it. So, all right, now swinging all the way, get that swinging all the way west. We have Mr. Jay Brannon.
What's going on? This is interesting because I started doing video logs from weddings back in 2010, and I would do really long, elaborate. I used a Sony Flip HD, and I would put it on a stand, and I would turn it on throughout the night. I would usually do a site inspection like, hey, it's July 7th, and welcome to the beautiful Hyatt San Diego Waterfront Hotel. You can see the rooms. I do a pre-wedding room setup for 150. This is my setup. The cake's over here. I've seen it over here. If you have any questions, put them below or hit me up at j@jdj.com. And then throughout the night, I would get key moments, usually dancing. The problem I ran into is a lot of weddings started to look the same because you'd have the same tracks. So I would purposely not show the same tracks. I also started doing a series called DJ Tips in Under a Minute.
Yeah, you got over 1,000 of them, right?
I think actually, no, I'm at, I think 340 of them now or something. There might be more. I've got to go check. I think I have 600 videos on YouTube. I have a little under 3 million views. YouTube did really well for me. I made a lot of money off YouTube initially, till they changed the rules. Well, they changed the rules, and I didn't post a lot due to COVID, and I lost monetization. So
right,
I haven't put any effort into YouTube. I think I put up 2 videos in the last year because I've really focused on TikTok. But I want to get back to doing the YouTube stuff because it was quick, easy, good money, but it was also a grind. You got to post content constantly. I never asked anyone for permission. If I did a school event, I would show the most dark removed shot of like a father-daughter dance. So I didn't have kids in the video, but there were kids. But if kids were on the dance floor and it looked cute, I wouldn't film it. Because I agree with you. I think keeping kids off your channel is probably the smart thing to do. I will probably change my contract this year just because social media has changed. 2010, you didn't have Instagram. Facebook was brand new. Twitter was around, but DJs weren't posting to anything. So YouTube was the only way out. Now I think MySpace. Well, yeah, but I had MySpace. Me and Tom used to hang out. But I think I'm just going to do what we do at trade shows. And at trade shows, we have a piece of paper that says, by entering this space, you may be filmed for public release. So what I might add as a clause in my contract is throughout my events, I may film for social media outlets for posting and not make it a question, just make it a statement that someone could come along and say, hey, I saw your clause about you might film for YouTube, Instagram, whatever. We don't want that. That's fine. Then I'll skip over it. Okay. But I mean, in 650 videos, and everyone has seen them because I tell people about them or they comment on them on their own. Nobody's ever come back and said, I really wish you didn't post that. I really wish you didn't put that up. And I think Matt may have said it, or Buddy, I'll self-edit. I do cuts so I don't get things like bump and grinds and all that.
Right.
The only thing with Buddy that I would disagree with is I wouldn't show. I think with social media, it's never good to show I fixed a problem you might have versus look at the success I have at this place. Because they've got to assume if there's a problem at that venue, Buddy's already seen it. Versus like, hey, I'm at this venue tonight, and look, I don't have a table and I have no way to set up my speakers. To me, that as a viewer, I would say this guy's not a pro, he's unprepared. So it's just a small statement, Buddy. It's not a slam. It's the comments I've gotten over the last 13 years have led me to believe people go negative before they go positive. So if you have a great presentation of an event, I think that's what they focus on. They don't focus on you had a problem and you fixed it. That's my only thing. If you're going to put up a vlog of a client, keep it under 3 minutes, show the highlights, make the client look amazing, and make the event look super successful. And yes, I can point to probably 25 weddings that I know for a fact hired me based solely on they found me on YouTube, or YouTube was the deciding factor. What kind of DJ are you? Here's my YouTube channel. My other small advice is buy a domain for YouTube. I have jvj.com. If you go to jayvj.com, it takes you directly to my YouTube channel. And I found that that's even more of a professional way to show YouTube instead of saying, go to youtube.com/hyperlink/user. No, just buy a short little domain like Buddy VJ or Chris or Scott VJ or whatever, or VJ first, and then hit them with that. And then it's like, oh, what's this? It's on every email signature on my phone that I send out. It says JVJ. And I get a lot of comments like, oh, I went to your YouTube channel. That's dope. I love that stuff.
Oh, very cool.
So that's my take on it.
All right. Last but not least, I don't know where you're from. I've forgotten, Eric, but
Planet Earth.
The NH is a clue.
You sound like you're up north.
In New Hampshire, correct.
New Hampshire. All right.
Right. As far as DJ logs, I don't do them anymore. I used to. I used to do like little video clips of the dance floor, and I would post them on my website. Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. blah, 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 and I'd have a few videos underneath them. And then it'd be a whole page of these you could scroll. And then I ran into one issue where I just said, I'm not going to do it no more. I was videoing, and they're like, I forget the guy's name. Hey, is Uncle Dennis in there? I don't know. Who's Uncle Dennis? Well, he's got a warrant, 3 warrants out for his arrest. I'm like, okay. And this was an actual true story. I'm like, all right, I'm all done with this. I don't need cops knocking at my door. Where was this? So
I don't know if that's the video as much as maybe different clients.
Well, it could be.
But like if they call and you hear a woman go, this is a phone call from Walpole State Prison calling collect.
This call may be recorded.
Do you accept? And this may be recorded. That might be a sign to go,
raise your prices.
Wrong number.
Well, if they say $1,500, I'll keep them on the line. I'll pay for the call.
There you go.
I'm only kidding. But after that, I stopped doing them, and I actually took down the page with all my prior ones, just because I don't want no issues. But I do keep them so that I can show future brides and grooms, in my office what we can do. But I won't post them anymore. That's just and I think John's right. Everybody had great points tonight. Like make sure you get permission, before you actually start recording. And Jay, I don't know what the hell he said. I was too busy not listening. But
well,
love you, Jay.
I'm gonna give you a tip that I've been using that I had used in the past. This year I retired from DJing and went into production. And when I was talking, and this is pre-COVID and right after COVID, most people want to use like Messenger, things like that, and I can talk to them. And what I did was I took videos and I put them in a folder on my desktop so that I could open that up. Now, here's the key. There isn't a video longer than 5 to 7 seconds. So if I want to do, hey, would you like uploading an uploading package? What's that? And then I can just drag a 5-minute, like before, this is the room before, this is the room after. Oh, yep, we want that. Would you like the spotlight for the grand entrance? And I have that where the curtains are closed, they open up, the spotlights come on, and it's 5 to 7 seconds. People want to go boom, boom, boom. They go, oh yeah, oh, that looks awesome. Not like, hey, take your time out and go to my website and watch a 10-minute video. To them, 10 minutes is an eternity these days for some reason, and those were the little tricks I would use to do, the certain upsells.
What's another good thing for YouTube is YouTube Shorts. They're a minute or less, and you can show a lot in that minute or less. It's kind of like YouTube's version of TikTok.
But when you're engaged, it's great, I guess, if people are, randomly shopping around and looking for a DJ. But if you're actually in a consultation and you get to talk with them, you've got a very high closing rate if you can answer their questions or pitch upsells in 5 seconds or less. It worked really well for me, especially when it said, what's uplighting? This is what uplighting is, because I have a before, and then I have boom, where I clicked, I had the camera on a stand, and then I clicked and all the lights came on. And I said, there you go. It's before and after. Then it was easy to upsell the uplighting. So, I don't want to send them away. I'm already talking to them. I need to close the deal now. Yeah. So, yeah.
Don't send them somewhere else. If it was hard enough to find you in the first place, don't reroute them to make it more complicated. learn how to take yes for an answer, right?
Yeah, take yes for if they're already talking to you, you better be able to close it. So, does anybody have any final thoughts before we put a fork in this?
Just real quick, just double back around. I mean, if you're doing it for the sake of an educational purpose, here's the room without lights, here's the room with lights. And that's your channel, and that's the market you're going for. Yeah, that's a client upsell. That's not so much to look at me showing off this great party, this group that came in with a bunch of party people. You're actually contributing something. Someone's like, well, I was thinking about getting up lights. Maybe I'll pull the trigger and buy those now. Rather than if it's just a look at me fest, and the camera is someone else shooting you playing on your turntables and making yourself the spotlight at their function, where
right,
the bride and groom should be the spotlight of the function. Not to name names, but
I agree.
Again, the intent is 99% of it. It's like, you're doing it for the good of either yourself because it's an upsell tool, or educational because you want to be marketed that way. But there's pros and cons. There's a right way and a wrong way to do it. So just take that into consideration before you pull out the camera and start filming at an event. And that's the last for me. So
I love it. All right, guys, we're going to put a fork in it, and thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget, hey, look down below, and there's hyperlinks to our sponsors. And as always, if you have a topic that you would like us to handle here, leave it in the comment section, and we will do our best to answer your questions. Until then,